I said to you that Bam Adebayo now has Bobby Portis and Giannis Antetokounmpo on their front line with them. What you gonna say? You tell me a front line in the Eastern Conference that's better than that. In terms of rebounding, in terms of defense, Giannis can average 30 in his sleep. This is who he is. Miami is a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference.
Miami has never been a franchise that plays it safe. When a generational superstar becomes available, the Heat don't hesitate. They strike. In 2004, they landed Shaquille O'Neal and transformed the franchise overnight. 6 years later, they shocked the basketball world by bringing together LeBron James and Chris Bosh, creating one of the most dominant super teams in NBA history. And now, Pat Riley has done it again. After months of nonstop rumors, endless speculation, and behind-the-scenes negotiations, Miami has pulled off another blockbuster that could reshape the entire league. The price? Absolutely massive. The Heat sacrificed elite young talent and nearly every valuable asset they had left to make this deal happen. But when a 2-time MVP unexpectedly hits the market, opportunities like this come once in a generation. And if you want to change the future of your franchise, there's only one choice. You pay whatever it takes.
For Giannis. Gives it right back to Kevin Porter Jr. Giannis!
On paper, the Miami Heat have just assembled one of the most terrifying duos in basketball. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo already have potential to become the NBA's most dominant defensive frontcourt, and Eric Spoelstra hasn't even had the chance to unleash them yet. But championships aren't won on paper, and they certainly aren't won by playing only one side of the ball. Because there's one major question that could define Miami's entire season. As unstoppable as Giannis and Bam are defensively, they also share the same glaring weakness. Both superstars thrive in many of the exact same areas on the floor offensively. The Heat have pushed all of their chips to the center of the table, betting everything on a roster built around 2 elite players whose offensive games naturally overlap. That's the gamble. But make no mistake, this isn't the play-in Heat we've watched struggle for the past 3 seasons. This is a completely different team, a completely different identity, one built around one of the most dominant players the NBA has seen in the last decade. And history gives Miami fans every reason to dream. The last 2 times Pat Riley made an all-in move for a future Hall of Famer, the season ended with the Larry O'Brien Trophy sitting in South Beach. So now, the question isn't whether the Heat got better. The question is, did they just build another championship team? After years of rumors, speculation, and near misses, Miami finally landed its biggest target. Giannis Antetokounmpo is officially headed to South Beach. For 3 straight seasons, the Heat were trapped in NBA purgatory. Good enough to fight for a playoff spot, but never dangerous enough to truly threaten the league's elite. They were missing the one thing almost every championship team has, a genuine franchise superstar. Now they have won 2 MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year, an NBA championship, a Finals MVP. And now, Giannis is joining forces with Heat captain Bam Adebayo. Before we even talk about the offense, this partnership is fascinating because of what it could become defensively. Quite simply, Miami may already have the best defensive frontcourt in basketball. Last season, Giannis ranked in the 87th percentile in rim protection, 93rd in rim disruption, 74th in post defense, and 68th as a help defender. Few players in NBA history can erase shots around the basket the way Giannis can. Then there's Bam Adebayo. He finished in the 88th percentile in rim protection, 93rd in rim deterrence, 83rd in both post and help defense, and an incredible 96th percentile defending pick-and-roll screens. That's what makes Bam so unique. One possession, he's battling a 7-foot center in the paint. The next, he's sliding his feet with an all-star point guard 30 feet from a basket. Very few big men on earth can do both at an elite level. Together, they complement each other almost perfectly. Giannis provides elite size, length, athleticism, and devastating weak side rim protection. Bam gives Miami arguably the NBA's most versatile defensive center, someone capable of switching onto virtually anyone without becoming a liability. Put them together, and suddenly there isn't a single offensive style Miami can't challenge. Attack the rim? Good luck. Play through the post? they've got it covered. Spam pick and rolls? They're built for that too. And the most exciting part? This defense may not even be close to its ceiling. Giannis already owns one of the greatest defensive resumes of his generation. 5 all-defensive team selections, a Defensive Player of the Year award, and years spent anchoring one of the NBA's elite defenses alongside Brook Lopez. But here's where things become truly fascinating. Bam Adebayo is nothing like Brook Lopez, and that could completely change the way Giannis impacts the game. For nearly 7 seasons, both Milwaukee and Miami have consistently ranked among the NBA's best at protecting the paint. The difference is how they achieved it. Milwaukee built its defense around Brook Lopez staying deep in the paint, while Giannis roamed freely as an elite weak-side defender, using his length, instincts, and unbelievable timing to erase mistakes. Miami took the opposite approach. Instead of planting Bam near the rim, Erik Spoelstra turned him into the engine of one of basketball's most aggressive defensive systems. Switch on to guards, blitz the ball handler, hedge pick and rolls, cover impossible amounts of ground, do whatever the possession demands. That's exactly why this pairing is so intriguing. For the first time in Giannis' career, he'll be sharing the floor with a defensive big who doesn't just protect the rim. He can defend every inch of the court. And if Spoelstra finds a perfect balance between their unique skill sets, the rest of the NBA could have a very serious problem. Bam Adebayo may not provide Brook Lopez-level drop coverage, but you could make a strong argument that he's been the NBA's best switchable big man for nearly a decade. The difference now, he no longer has to carry the entire defensive burden alone. Standing beside him is Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of basketball's most dominant help defenders, elite rim protectors, and perhaps the most destructive weak-side defender of this generation. And don't let Milwaukee's defensive system fool you, because Giannis is far more versatile than people realize. For years, he thrived in a drop-heavy scheme, but he's an elite switch defender in his own right. He has the size to battle centers in the paint, the quickness to stay in front of guards, and the instincts to rotate from the weak side and erase shots that most players wouldn't even attempt to contest. Put those two together, and Miami suddenly has something almost no team in the NBA can match. 2 elite 7-foot athletes who can protect the rim, switch on to guards, recover in space, dominate the glass, and erase mistakes all over the floor. That's the kind of defensive versatility coaches dream about. And the Giannis-Bam switch combinations? They're going to give opposing offenses nightmares all season long. But does that automatically make Miami the NBA's most switch-heavy defense? Not necessarily. Last season, the Heat already switched the second most ball screens in the entire league. Bam alone switched 93 more ball screens than the next closest player, all while Kelly handled much of the traditional drop coverage. That's what makes this roster so dangerous. Erik Spoelstra doesn't have to commit to one defensive philosophy anymore. He can switch, he can hedge, he can blitz, he can drop, he can play man-to-man, he can throw out multiple zone looks. Sometimes, all within the same possession. Very few coaches have the personnel to completely change their defensive identity on the fly. Spoelstra now has exactly that, and that's an advantage almost nobody else in the NBA can replicate. But here's where things get really interesting. The biggest reward from this defense may not come on the defensive end at all. It could completely transform Miami's offense. Last season, despite finishing 14th in defensive rating, the Heat played at one of the fastest paces in basketball. That's important because they were already generating stops without sacrificing tempo. Now imagine adding a former Defensive Player of the Year. Without losing Bam Adebayo, you can already see what's coming. More stops, more steals, more deflections, more forced turnovers, more defensive rebounds, and most importantly, more transition opportunities before opposing defenses can even get organized. That's exactly where Giannis becomes almost impossible to stop. Throughout NBA history, very few players have been as devastating the open floor as Giannis Antetokounmpo. Give him a full head of steam, and it's usually 2 points. Now combine that with Bam's ability to secure the rebound and instantly push the ball himself, or fire an outlet pass to ignite the break. Suddenly, every missed shot becomes a fast break opportunity. Picture it for a second. 2 elite 7-foot athletes sprinting down the floor. While 5 defenders desperately scramble to find anyone, to stop them, most teams simply don't have 5 seconds to figure that out. That's what elite defense really creates. It doesn't just prevent points. It manufactures easy ones, which is exactly why it will be shocking if Miami doesn't finish the season as one of the NBA's top 5 defenses. That defensive ceiling alone should pull the Heat comfortably out of the play-in tournament and back into the Eastern Conference playoff picture. But here's the catch. Defense probably won't determine whether Miami wins a championship. The offense will, because to acquire Giannis, Pat Riley had to sacrifice exactly the kind of players this roster now desperately needs. For all the defensive firepower Miami possesses, the biggest question mark isn't on one end of the floor. It's on the other. Even before the blockbuster trade, shooting was already a concern. The Heat were respectable from three-point range last season, but never elite. Even with Tyler Herro and Norman Powell stretching the floor, it was obvious Miami needed more perimeter shooting to maximize its offense. Then the Giannis trade happened, and everything changed to land one of the greatest players in the world. Pat Riley emptied the cupboard. Tyler Herro, gone. Jamie Jaquez Jr., gone. Kello Ware, gone. Norman Powell left in free agency. And any fantasy of a LeBron James reunion disappeared the moment he chose Philadelphia, almost overnight. He guided a roster led largely by overlooked role players all the way to the NBA Finals. 3 years later, he somehow did the impossible again. An 8th seed, a roster almost nobody believed in. Another trip to the Finals. Time after time, Spoelstra has taken what looked like spare parts and turned them into championship contenders. That's become his trademark. Finding value where nobody else sees it. Unlocking players no one expected. Building elite systems instead of relying solely on elite talent. But this time, the challenge is completely different. Because for the first time in more than a decade, Spoelstra has something he hasn't truly had since the LeBron era. A legitimate top 5 player. And that's where Miami's offense becomes incredibly exciting. Last season, the Heat gradually shifted away from heavy pick-and-roll basketball, leaning more into isolation scoring and attacking downhill in space. Unfortunately, we never got the chance to see whether that approach could survive a deep playoff run. Now imagine plugging Giannis Antetokounmpo into that system. Few players in NBA history attack open space with the violence and efficiency that Giannis does, which raises another fascinating question. Does Spoelstra keep the offense he's already built, or completely redesign it around his new superstar, based on Spoelstra's own comments? The answer is probably both. When asked about Giannis' offensive versatility, Spoelstra explained that he'll certainly look for new ways to maximize his talents. But he also acknowledged something important. Giannis has already done almost everything imaginable. He's been the screener, the ball handler. He's run pick and rolls with centers. He's run them with guards. He's attacked from the top of the floor. He's attacked from the wings. There simply aren't many offensive situations Giannis hasn't mastered. And if history tells us anything about Erik Spoelstra, it's that whenever he's coached elite athletes capable of finishing above the rim, he's never hesitated to build an offense that lives there. Now imagine that philosophy, with both Giannis and Bam Adebayo sharing the floor. Suddenly, Miami has the personnel to create an identity unlike anything we've seen from this franchise in years. In many ways, this almost feels like 2 completely different basketball teams. On the defensive end, you barely need any imagination. You can already picture it. Long, physical, relentless, switching everything, forcing turnovers, turning defense into fast break offense. That's easy to envision. The offense requires a little more faith. There's certainly plenty to love. Giannis immediately solves Miami's biggest issue by giving them the true franchise superstar they've lacked for years. His gravity alone should generate cleaner looks for everyone else. But the biggest questions still remain. Will there be enough spacing? Who creates offense late in playoff games besides Giannis? Who hits the pressure shots when every possession matters? Those answers won't come in November or January. They'll come in April when playoff basketball exposes every weakness. And with 3 roster spots still available, don't be surprised if Pat Riley isn't finished making moves. Because this trade was never about simply escaping the play-in tournament. Miami didn't sacrifice its future just to win a few more regular season games. They made this move for one reason: to compete for a championship. Right now, so make no mistake, this isn't last year's Miami Heat with Giannis added to the roster. This is an entirely different team, a completely different identity. And whether this gamble ends with another championship banner comes down to one man. Can Eric Spoelstra build a title-winning offense around 2 dominant interior superstars while generating just enough shooting to make it all work? That is the question that would define the Miami Heat season. Now I want to hear from you. How far do you think Miami goes this season? Basketball first-round exit? Basketball Eastern Conference Finals? Trophy, or are they legitimate championship contenders? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more in-depth NBA analysis every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.